Parishioners?
That was the sister of Megan Harrison, the woman I talked to you about last winter. Gave me some good advice then, Bishop.
All of which you chose to ignore. You continued to see that Megan person. You disobeyed my order to stay away at that retreat. And then you abandoned your parish without permission to go to Jabba. So much for my very good advice.
Megan was dying.
Yes. Well, that was then. This is now. Some very serious charges are being made against you, Andrew. This time, I want you to listen to my advice and to obey my orders. Well, do you deny this charge?
If you're talking about the charge that I tried to seduce Billy Douglas, absolutely, absolutely. I want to ask you if you've thought about where these charges are coming from.
I understand that the Douglases are very respected members of this community.
I'm sure they are, but there are also two people who seem to be very upset at what they're perceiving as my social politics. I gave a sermon on AIDS, and I wore a red ribbon on the pulpit that Sunday, and I wanted to show the congregation that we're all in this together, in this fight against a deadly disease, and I wanted to impress upon them that if Christ came back now, he wouldn't turn his back on people with AIDS. Do you think he would?
I'm quite sure he wouldn't. I'm also certain that this social activism of yours is a completely separate issue from this very serious charge of seducing a minor.
Did the Douglases happen to say who put this ugly notion in their head?
Somebody from the parish. They wouldn't say who. They also said they saw certain things themselves.
Things? What things? There were no things to see. And if you doubt that I'm telling the truth, you can ask Billy Douglas.
Billy Douglas was there.
That's fine.
When his parents made the accusation.
Okay, what did he say?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
I can understand why Billy would be silent. Imagine how you would react. Your parents are out of the blue accusing an innocent older man of molesting you. That would be enough to stun you into silence, just like Billy, wouldn't it?
Maybe it would.
Okay.
If the charge was false. On the other hand, if I cared about this older man and the charge were true, I might be equally tongue-tied.
All right. Let me talk to Billy. I'm sure that if he's scared, I can get him to come forward with the truth. Obviously, I would also need permission to talk with his parents.
I don't know if his parents are very keen on talking to you right now.
So I can't talk to the Douglases. I can't talk to Billy. Do I deserve a chance here? Do I? Do I get a chance to confront these accusations at the source?
The trouble with this kind of accusation is that it has a ripple effect. The damage keeps on spreading out, even if one can prove that the original accusation is not true.
And how do you suggest that we stop these ripples?
Well, first of all, we have to find out why the Douglases have picked on you. Out of all the older men that their son comes in contact with, his teachers, his counselors, his coaches, why have they singled you out to be the victim of this rumor?
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I've already told you that I gave the sermon on AIDS. And I ran interference for Billy when his parents were against him being involved in the community center. Those are some of the reasons I can think of. I'm wondering, Bishop, can you think of any other reason?
Are there any girls that you've given this much attention to? I'm just trying to think like the Douglases.
Oh, yes, you are, and you're succeeding quite well, Bishop. You are thinking just like the Douglases. You're thinking I'm single. That's pretty scary, isn't it? And you're thinking that I'm spending a lot more time than you'd like to see with a very young, attractive man in the parish. And you're thinking that maybe I'm alienating him from his parents so that I would seem more attractive in his eyes. So why don't you ask me the question that you really want to ask, Bishop?
All right, Andrew. Are you gay?
You know you have, no right to ask me that question, don't you? My sexual preference is nobody's business, nobody's, and that means not the vestries, not the parishioners, and not yours. And I am not going to answer that question, not now, and not ever.